Okay, so in this video we'll be looking at conditional operators. So it is a basic part of C++ programming. So first off, let's say let's create an example application. Let's say you're creating an application, or rather a program for a school. So you'll have an int marks, and we'll have an int pass mark. Okay, let's have it pass underscore mark. So let's set the pass mark to say like 50. We'll assume it's out of 100, so yeah, and we'll allow the user to enter the sort of the marks that a student has gotten. So we'll just say enter the marks, and we'll have a cin of marks. So the user will enter the marks, and what we can do now is we'll tell whether the person who's gotten those marks is failed or passed. So we'll have this thing called now typically what you could do is we'll have an if statement that'll say if marks is greater than or equal to pass underscore mark, then we'll have another one. Actually, we'll have this will be a bool, which will be status. This will we'll just keep it like that. Then we'll set the status or status, as some might call it, equal to 1. Otherwise we'll say else. We can just say status equals 0, and then we can have another if statement saying if status then do something like cout. If status if status then cout. We can just cout pass. Else else cout fail. So if you're typing this, actually it's of no use. Don't type it with me right now. I'll be showing you a much better way to do this. So yeah, we'll just build and run this real quick. So it'll ask me for the marks. Let's say I enter 12. It will say fail. Now I can just start again. I'll say I got 90. Then it'll just say pass. Now you see this is quite a long bit of code. What we can do instead is just remove all of these, and then we'll say cout, and we can have something like we'll say marks greater than or equal to pass underscore mark, and then we'll have a question mark. This is very important. Have a question mark and put in something like this. So first thing is what to do if it's true. We'll say pass, and if it's false then we'll say fail. So what this is doing is it's checking if marks is greater than or equal to pass mark. If it is, then we'll run the first we'll give out the first value, and if this returns false then we'll say fail. So if we build and run this, okay, just a minute actually. Okay, so the error was because I'm going to remove this real quick. I'll cut that out of there. I'll change this to status or status, as some might call it, and we'll change status to a string. And what we'll do over here is we'll say status equals, and then I'll paste that in. So now what it will do is if status is status will equal when if marks is greater than or equal to pass mark, then if this is true then we'll say this, and if this is false then we'll say this. So if I build and run this real quick, we'll see that we get that. If I enter 50 it'll say pass. If I enter 12 it will say fail. So this is what we wanted to do in this video tutorial. So the syntax for this whole logical operator is that, oh sorry, conditional operator is that you enter a comparison, or yeah, you enter a comparison, and if it is true, this is what will get executed, and if it is false, this is what gets executed. So yeah, that's all for today. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe.